Oh, shoot. I'll be a minute. Okay, cool. Give me just a minute, please. I'll get started. Oh, hello all, and welcome to the stream. Let's see here. Alrighty. So, today we're doing a lot of preparation and planning for the project, and hopefully getting things started a little bit. I'm going to do what I always do first, and go ahead and create a repository. This project is going to be codename ship. So that's why I'm going to name the repo. This is my olcCodeJam 2025 entry. I'm going to leave that blank. Cool. Okay. This is going to be where we start dumping our project. So we're going to have to grab a project template. I like to use Morris's. It's very easy to set up and use, and we should be able to get started with it. So I'll go ahead and grab that real quick. I might already have it cloned. I probably have it cloned. Don't see it. Right. Cool. I think all I have to do is copy all this somewhere. And that should be a start. So let me clone down this, even though it's an empty repo. Okay. Go ahead and do that. We're going to add those to the project, and we're going to take a look at CMake lists first. So we have to name the project something. We're just going to call it ship. Sources includes assets. We're using C++20, that's fine. I don't think we changed much else. Everything else should be good. For now, anyway. I think... Let's see. I don't think it by default includes audio. Maybe it does. I see mini audio. Anyways, we'll worry about that later. So CMake lists added. So I'm gonna run this in CMake real quick to generate the solution for this. We're gonna use Visual Studio. Okay, generate. I should have made... I say should have, I don't see anything. Hold on. There should have been another directory. Where to build? Oh, well, maybe I should change that, huh? I want a bin folder. Do I actually? Maybe not. Let's just do this. CMake files, generate. Cool. Oh, why does it say test tab? Did I not save? Or is there... Am I dumb? Maybe I didn't save. Program files / test app. What? That's the value? Alright. I'm gonna probably redo that. Oh. Install prefix. How about we do that? Okay, now it generated a project called, a solution called SHEP. Alright, so in here we have the SHEP project, we have our source files, we should have PG included. It looks like mini audio is already included too. That's nice. It's Blink. Oh, main. Here we go. I'm like, why is it Blink? This should run some kind of like asteroids clone. Probably with sound too. Yep, okay, cool. So that's the default project built for the template project. So we're just going to commit all this to get ourselves started. Holy moly, I don't want all this. Hold on. I need a git ignore. Git ignore for, well, let me do this. We want Visual Studio, C++, and, well, that might be it. Let's start with that. And go from there. So I'll just throw this. Oh, there's a git ignore. Wasn't a great one, I guess. That should reduce a lot of this junk. I will take everything else here. I agree with this. Mostly. I don't need CMake files. I shouldn't need CMake files. I'll take the rest. I shouldn't need CMake cache either, or CMake lists. Like, none of the CMake stuff is supposed to be here. Well, CMake lists. Not CMake cache. I think we'll do that. Okay. Set up with Moros template project. Before we get started, there's one other thing I want to set up for this project as well. So this push should take us to, that is not my username. I need to change the username for this, because that's not gonna work. Can't authenticate. Yeah. That's awkward. Change username. Get. Let's do that. I'm actually not sure why it asked me that specifically. Usually it... Let me see. Let me just try push. Because that is fascinating. Yeah, it's doing git, so I guess we do have to change this. Hopefully that's all I have to do. No? Still wants to commit as git. Oh, maybe this. Let's see. Now that's set up right. That's for wrong account. Why are my commits linked to the wrong user? Get pushes with the wrong user from terminal. No, that's not. My problem isn't I'm pushing with the wrong user. My problem is it's SSHing to the wrong user. Maybe I can just... That's so strange, though. Let's look at help. Okay, push, any username settings? Set upstream. Oh, here we go. Get URLs. Maybe I just put username at host. What's the current URL for this? I can't find my window. Okay, it says Sigonis R2 there. Am I dumb? That's not gonna work. That's also not going to work because I already have this directory here. What I will do is I'm just going to rename this. Something is using this. I was hoping it was Visual Studio. It might be CMake. It might be Explorer, actually. That's... Nope. Visual Studio Code? Oh, maybe. Well, I closed everything I could think of. That's fun. Okay, well, make a copy then. Try an RM. Force. Forgot Windows is a little different. Actually, I could use git bash here. Okay, that worked. So let me clone. This time, hopefully with the right username. I feel like that's exactly what I did though. Git a project. Okay, it's asking me it again. I don't think this will work because the username's not supposed to be git. So maybe here I can... Oh, looking at the URL more closely, I see it. I see the problem. For some reason it's defaulting to git there, which is strange. Also, I guess I usually use HTTP, not SSH. Well, this explains the problem, so... Oops. I use SSH, but that should have worked. Oh wait, I probably have to set up an SSH key, which I don't really want to do right now, so let's just clone the classic way. And then it should ask me for my username, because that's exactly what it normally does. Okay, I'm gonna move those. And we'll get rid of that folder. And now we commit, and it should ask us for a username. Gosh, that's so stupid. Okay, this is... what am I calling this? Set up initial commit. Whoa, using Morris's template. Template project. Yes, all right, we should be good. Cool. So we're committed now, that's good. So next thing I need to do is we're gonna be doing something a little special. There was a repo. Oh, 1 minute. If you need anything, just let me know.
Mhm.
Otherwise, make yourself comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Otherwise, I'll just be yapping into the mic. So, Technic Jill of the OLC community has provided some kind of automated project for building for Windows, Linux, mscripten, which is what I'm grabbing right now. I want to set it up for my project because it will make testing easy. If for some reason my project stops compiling for any of these things, then I will know that something terrible happened. What's today? The 22nd. Here it is. I found it. Okay. So they have a GitHub workflow, and I recently set up build workers for Git locally. So if I pull this, I think I can just use it directly. I don't think I should have to do anything fancy. I hope. It does say runs on Windows latest and Ubuntu latest. I might have to figure out how to grab those containers first. Shouldn't be that hard. I could probably just go to container hub and look for that real quick. They should be available, I would hope. Actually, now that I think about it, what... Maybe I should just run this on GitHub. That might be easier. I guess we'll see what happens. It's probably just gonna complain that there's no containers for that. Just fine. Maybe I will run this on GitHub after all. I should be able to just push it directly to both locations anyway. Let's see if I can set this up real quick. So I think the way to do this, I'll just reference another project of mine, is to create a git/workflows folder and throw it in there. You napping, Gabby? Tired? Yeah, get some good rest.
Mm-hmm.
What am I even calling this? Calling this cmake.yaml. YML or YAML? I guess YML. I guess it's the same thing, really. I'm just gonna throw this in here and try to run it and see what happens. It should immediately try and do it. Add auto build runner workflow, and we'll see what happens there. Because if I have this set up, then it's gonna make sure that my project will always compile throughout the entire CodeJam, which would be great, ideally. So it should be trying to do something now. So it just says waiting to run, so I'm gonna guess it can't find a container, or it's trying. Let me see, set up job. Okay, Ubuntu latest is good. Which makes sense. I do have Ubuntu latest. I don't have... I guess it's just waiting for these to finish. We'll see what happens. But it should attempt to build it once it does these. Okay, it failed. Let me see. Complete job failed. None of these worked. It says... pull complete. Download newer image. Clean up network. cloning. Checked out. Skipping post step for upload build. Step was not executed. The runs.using key and action YAML must be one of the following. But got node 24. Oh, I don't have node 24. I only have node 20. I can use node 20, I'm pretty sure. It's not a problem. Wait. I can't change that. The runs.using key. Let me see. Runs. Well, using. I don't see a using in here. Uses. In action.yaml. Oh, it's talking about the one in check out. I don't know if that's... Apparently it's not configured, right? Oh, of course it's not. Okay, well, I will... I guess I'll do in GitHub then, because apparently I don't have the right container. It's not downloading the right container, but that's fine. I'll just go ahead and throw it in here. Shep. CodeJam 2025. Entry. Okay. Blink repo. And throw this in there. Oh, please tell me I don't have to set up another SSH key for GitHub. I know it complains about that before. I think I've done it before already though, so I might be okay. Anyway. So what I need to do is change the upstream for this repo. Git remote. Let's see, we can set the URL. That would probably be the way better than deleting and re-adding. There's no point in re-adding. Git remote set URL to of origin to this. That is not... Okay. And then I will just do a push. I'll see it go. Excellent. Now I just have to provide a workflow. I think I can, let me see. It's just GitHub/workflows instead. So I will need to rename that folder. And recommit that. Change to GitHub repo. And we'll see if that now builds properly on GitHub. There we go. Runner started. And I'll just make sure this works before we proceed. Excellent. Tech made this right before the CodeJam started, so props to them. Assuming it won't take too long considering there's no code, it's just the longest part is getting the container. So Windows build is successful. I want to see where, I want to be familiar with like where I would find, okay, it's under build here. I get to see like if there's any warnings or errors. I assume the same for this build. Surprisingly, Linux is taking longer. I guess it just needs, oh wow. Yeah, it probably just needs a lot of packages. That's fine. All right, well, while this is going on, we can start setting up the game itself and start talking about the game, the plans for the game. So firstly, I'm going to change the class of this to be We'll just call it Shep. Project officially codenamed Shep for now. So say project Shep olcCodeJam 2025. Okay, I'm going to delete all the code here. We don't need any of it. It's great it comes with mini audio by default. We'll need that eventually. Yeah, just deleting it, being left with a basic temp. Actually, let's just copy the Pixel Game Engine. Where is the header? Eh? Is the header not included in the solution? I guess it's not. Huh. Okay, I'm gonna add a includes filter, a header files filter. I would like the header files in there. Okay, that way I can easily pull them out. So I'm just gonna grab the default example of OLC Pixel Game Engine. I think that's fair. Class Shep. Okay. Cool. Rename. I'm probably going to rename this class to Shep Game because I know I'm probably going to use the class name Shep later, as that is actually a noun for the creatures of the game. It looks like it's complaining about already defined. Why? Is it because I added them here? It should not be included in the list of builds. I don't think. All right, let's just test. I don't think doing this makes it so it's added to the list. Yeah, that wouldn't make any sense. Huh. What is it complaining about? Just already defined in main all these different OLC classes. That's strange. This should be the only... Oh, maybe it's not. Hold on. Oh, okay, yeah. It's defined here in its own CPP file. I can get rid of this and just include the Pixel Game Engine. You only need that macro once. And that's that. Okay, so this is header files again. Existing item. Okay, good. All right, so we got our little example done. All right, so Shep is ready to begin being coded. Set up Shep project. Cool. I assume GitHub Actions complete here. Good. So we just leave this here and we can check on making sure as we go along in the building of this game that the project keeps on building and doesn't mess up. That way we know the Windows build, the Linux build, and the scripted builds all work just fine. No problems. All right, so now we can focus on talk about the game itself. So what's the game going to be about? We're going to be writing some notes. A lot of notes. Okay. After going through multiple ideas, the theme for this code jam is shapes, and we have decided that we're going to be making a game where all these like shapes are creatures in a world where you are, well, it's essentially going to be an exploration role-playing game in a sense. An exploration role-playing puzzle-ish game. It's not really too much of a puzzle aspect, and I'll explain why in a minute, but basically it's highly derivative of Pokemon. That's the concept. All the shapes are the Pokemon, and they are named Shep. Plural also. A singular shape is called Shep, and multiple shapes are called Shep. And the idea is you, as the player, are going to run around obtaining various Shep of varying shapes / sizes. You will encounter multiple, I don't know what to call them yet. They'll either be like portals, they'll be teleporters, they'll be caverns, they'll be like blocked off walls, just depending on what the environment is, with engravings. The engravings have a combination of multiple shapes. It's like a silhouette. And what you're going to have to do is fill in the engraving in order to unlock a new area. So essentially, you are contained within one region of the map until you manage to catch or find the correct ship to get you into the next area. So it's slightly like a puzzle. You have to like look at the silhouette and decide, okay, I need certain shapes to get through. And I think what we want to do is try and make the shapes a bit flexible. And what I mean by that is like, there shouldn't just be one solution to this where you have to say catch like shep A, B, and C every single time to get through. Maybe you can catch shep D, E, and A, and they fit together in a similar way, but they're different shapes, so they would fit together differently. Like, that's kind of the idea. That's like more the puzzle aspect of it. You have to combine certain ones. If you end up catching all the ship, then you can just get through anyways, because you've caught them all. But if you want to go fast, then you gotta figure out which ones you want and find them quickly. Let me save this as notes. So that's the basic concept of it. We can branch out into specific details from here. In terms of what the game is going to look like, I am aiming for a Pokemon Heart Gold / Soul Silver style camera system. And the way they did this, it was really fascinating. I really love this game because it still uses two-dimensional sprites, but it has a slight like perspective to it. You can see here in these screenshots. I wish I could just show, maybe, well, I guess this is gameplay, huh? Maybe a little bit, so I can just show movement real quick. So, it is basically a top-down perspective, but the sprites do get larger as they get farther down in the camera, because obviously the things down here are a little closer to the camera than the things up here, but it is mostly overhead. I would like to achieve a very similar style to this game. I think it would look really sweet. So it's kind of like, it's 3D, but using 2D sprites mostly. I think this style looks really nice. I want to try and emulate it. That's kind of going to be my big thing here. So like these are actual three-dimensional walls. These are sprites here. And as she moves back, you can see these sprites get smaller because naturally they are further back. The way I'm going to accomplish this is actually using some of the technology I have. Oh, this didn't compile. Why? We're already running into a problem. What happened? Setup job failed. Well, that's not good, is it? Oh, it did the thing that... It did the thing that it did on my server. Why? What happened? It literally ran fine the first time. What's different? Eh? Let me see what it's supposed to... Oh, wait. No, it actually, like, failed. Interesting. I thought it succeeded At least I saw it succeeded. Oh wait, I'm on mine. I'm dumb. I forgot. We're on GitHub now. Let's just make sure we're not confusing ourselves. GitHub. Here we go. I was about to say, I was very confused. But I have to go on here for my old project, so I just saw the fail. You know what? I should delete the repo from my Git to right now, at least for the time being, because this doesn't work. Or I could double commit it. If you set up multiple upstreams in your repo, you can actually commit to both, and it'll just keep them both going. Maybe we should do that. I think I just do add URL. Add name URL. Okay, so should be something like this. Remote origin. Oh, let me add like a. I'm just gonna call it git instead. And I think I can just do a git push now, and it will do both. Everything up to date, maybe not. I think it's because I did git set upstream, so I think I have to manually say push to git every time. Or maybe it's already up to... No, that doesn't make sense, right? Push... Is it... I mean, there's repository, but I want to say like a remote... Updates. Okay. The remote repository, that's the destination. Ref spec. Could be a URL or the name of a remote. So git push git, that's what I did. Apparently it's up to date, which can't be true because this has different file. I'm not gonna worry about right now. That's not important. Back to the game. The technology I'm going to be using from it is the CodeJam entry I made last year. I'm basically going to break apart the graphics engine from it and reuse it here. Last year I did something very fancy. I don't even know if it is here. I think it's only on GitHub, now that I think about it. Let me look for hamster. Oh, there it is. Hamster. I think it's just, yeah, it's a mirror. Excuse me. So if we go here, I'm gonna end up, let me just grab this source code now because we're gonna have to dive deep into it in a little bit here. I think I have it pulled up on another part of my drive, but I'm just gonna download a fresh copy here anyway. Who knows what I messed with since the last time I've been in here. Okay, so it cloned hamster, which was my CodeJam project from last year. I'm gonna go ahead and open the solution, question mark? Is there no solution? Interesting, there's no solution here. Maybe I decided I didn't need to commit it, just because the solution, you have to rebuild the solution through CMake. Maybe that was my logic last time. Anyways, we do have to build this, so we're gonna go to CMake. Build hamster. Hamster. The in hamster. And CMake install prefix. I think we just do that. Okay. Done. Go. All right. Anyways, we don't really need to actually be able to build it, but we do need to be able to access the solution and go from there. This over here. Okay, so. This is probably gonna get pretty messy because I did have to modify a lot of this. Okay, hamster game. We're most interested in the olc. Oh, you know what? It's not. The header files aren't in here either. We'll do that real quick. Just go ahead and add them all in real quick. Assume they're under... Oh, okay. All the header files in this one are just under source. I mean, fair. Okay. So we're gonna need olcPegX graphics 3D. This isn't the original one. I actually modified this. Did I modify this? I think so. It's either that or I modified the actual Pixel game engine. You know what? I'm starting to think I actually modified the Pixel game engine, but let me go look, because this gets very dense. Yeah, so draw game. There was a lot going on in this game last time. And it ended up messing with a lot of engine stuff, like rendering stuff, because there was just, okay, I think transform view calls draw partial decal, and then we go into Pixel game engine. I think this is where everything changes. Oh, here we go. I'm seeing stuff. So, if I recall correctly, I think what happens is everything goes into either a 3-dimensional view or a 2-dimensional view. We go from there. So, by the way, before we get too in-depth in this, this is what I'm planning to spend 2 of the 9 game days doing, is implementing the engine. If I can make the engine work the way I want to, the rest of the game will fall into place. We can actually work on the game. So I'm devoting 7 days to create the actual gameplay and 2 days to get the engine going. I think Hamster, we allowed 1 whole day. This time I'm allowing 2 because we're going to be... I think this is going to be a bit more complex, so I'm allowing 2 days for this. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. So we did end up modifying the core Pixel game engine rendering loop just to get the features we had for this game last year. So we have this function called apply 3D transform, which is actually inside of Hamster game, it appears. Okay, this is interesting. At least I think it called... No, that doesn't make sense, right? Because if I back up here, it's calling a local function. What? It's blank. Huh? Oh, this must be a virtual function. Because I saw the override. That makes more sense. That's how we're accessing it. Okay. Sneaky. So we overrode it in the actual Hamster game class, and that's how we get here. And this is the core modifier. The core way we are completely modifying the rendering of the Pixel game engine. So what I'm going to need to do is get all this working. What this code essentially does is puts all the graphics, renders all the 3D, all the sprites as 3D graphics. Basically, last year I used 2D overhead sprites and just said, okay, render them as sprites but in a 3D world, because I wanted some 3D functionality out of it. This time, it's going to be a little different. We still want it to render sprites, but the sprites aren't necessarily going to be flat, and the camera's not necessarily going to be overhead. The camera is going to be looking a little bit angled down. Maybe like, I would say maybe 5 degrees off of the horizon. And then all the sprites, in that case, would have to face the camera. So they're actually going to be rotated that like 5 degrees or whatever the tilt is upwards. So they look like they're still facing the camera. So they're flat against the camera. But then we can move the camera forward and back and we get a slight perspective. That's going to be the whole goal with all of this. It's gonna be a little tricky, but this is the core function here, so at least we know that. I'm gonna annotate that real quick. Hamster game apply 3D transform, which is a virtual function overwritten from a PGE class, PGE derived class. And so we're gonna need that. We know that for sure, which means our PG is modified, so there might be more stuff in here we're gonna have to find eventually. I think the whole point of me doing all this was to make it easier on myself, because I noticed also we modified the Z, because with all the graphics being rendered on top of each other on a flat plane, there was Z fighting, which was a no-go before. I think now that might not even be an issue, because now everything is going to be rendered using that Z value. So that's an interesting thing to bring up. I have to think about that for a second. I think the Z value is supposed to be the height. Yeah, that's correct. So Y is actually, X and Y are still along the flat plane. I'm used to Z being like the axis along the ground, but Z is actually the axis coming up. So in this case, we're making them float in the air. So is that even ideal anymore? Will we need that? Would there be any Z fighting anymore? I would say no, which means a lot of that code will go away, interestingly enough. I want to argue that most of this we're not going to need. Any of this Z modification stuff goes away, which just leaves drawing the actual decals. So basically drawing the decals required 2 triangles, with one of the triangles being half of the sprite, the other triangle being the other half of the sprite. We have some weird exception with .png, I have no clue why. Anyways, let's just... And apparently the decals had to be sorted by Z values? I don't know why. Some interesting stuff here, probably to like fix a bug or something. So where do we start with this? I'm just trying to think how I want to get started. I guess let's first add in the 3D graphics PegX and get that initialized and going, because we know we're going to need a 3D camera, and we know we're going to need sprite stuff for it. Do I even... Okay, so then there's another question. Is this approach even a good idea? I think I threw this together as like a... What do we want to call this? This was like a very... This was clearly written for a code jam, because it was very quickly thrown together. It looks very rough. Some of it doesn't even make sense to me, so I'm like, I don't even think I want to use this, to be honest. I just want to use the core, like, this is how we get graphics 3D started, and then we'll render sprites on top of it. Maybe we'll abstract the classes required to make that work easier. So we can just say, like, draw a 3D sprite or something at a certain position, and that would be all we have to do. So maybe we forego all of this and just go straight to the graphics 3D example and start from there. I think that's the next logical step. Before I continue, let's talk about the rest of the plans. So, game engine, rendering engine, we're allowing 2 days of this. Day 3 is where the core of the map stuff is going to be, so we have to get... I want to make the map in tiled again. I think that's a very easy way to do it, so we need that. We need to get our graphics, so tiled setup, which means we're going to need to read from tiled. I do have a PegX that does that pretty easily, so we'll probably use that again. I can't imagine I'll need anything fancy from it. Do I need to animate anything? because animations are a little tougher. I guess we'll see. We need to get some graphics for the game. I'll have a look around. I just need to find something probably like Pokemon inspired. So child setup, get graphics. Let's say we get the movement done, we get collisions done. I guess we want to get doors working. So doors are like anything, any buildings we want to enter, we need to be able to transition between two parts of the map. I assume I'm going to be just making us teleport to another part of the map. That makes the most sense to me. Just moving the camera. And that should be fine. What else? I think that's it for day one. So we're going to say this all takes 1 day, right? The next day, we're going to start working on the shep. We need to come up with the types of shep there are. I think what we're going to do is kind of like how Pokemon had elemental types for different Pokemon. I think shep are going to be in like 3 or 4 base colors. And each color has a weakness and a strength, right? So it's almost like a rock, paper, scissors type of deal. So 3/4 core types of shep. And let's come up with at least 16 distinct shapes. I think that's a good starting number. Yeah. We might come up with more later. So we have to come up with the shep. We have to implement the shep systems. So shep systems would include the catching system, the stats of the shep. We might need to include a shep encyclopedia. Like in the game, you can go view information about them. Maybe. This is a maybe. It's a stretch goal. But yeah, catching stats, we need to implement, I think catching and stats for now. We can worry about battling the next day. So battle mechanics can be a whole day because battle mechanics will probably be a little complex. We'll need a day to implement or create maps. So we intend to have at least 4 locations for maps, 2 towns. So we want to at least be able to create those, and then we have to set up the spawn or the encounter zones within those maps. So this is all going to take a day. So how many days we used? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 3 days remaining. At least just to give us a very broad overview of what we need to implement. So we need to implement a small story. The story is just the base. We need to implement the story. We need to implement the puzzle aspect. So fitting shapes into engravings. 1 day. Story probably 1 day. And probably shape evolutions. So the shape evolutions is interesting. I don't know if we'll actually go with this concept, but the basic idea is there might be some very specific shapes that you have to actually level up the shep enough to evolve into a more complex shep, which might give you the necessary shapes to fit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 days. So the final day would be, I guess, play testing. Obviously, that's a big one. Play testing / tweaks / bug fixes. But we also need to see about doing some like little, maybe procedural generation. We're either going to do procedural generation of the puzzles. Maybe not even procedural. Let's just call it multiple puzzle variety. How about that? Variations. The more variations we can add, the more interesting the game will be, because there won't be only one solution. Speaking of the game rendering engine, I am adding a night and day cycle, and I think that's it for now. I want the night and day to look distinctly different from each other. One will be a darker camera, probably what's... I want to use fog. I think we can make effective use of some fog. I think fog would be pretty easy to implement. I'm not entirely sure about that one, but we'll see. I'm just trying to think now, is there anything I am missing? Oh, you know what? I think I know why I did this all. The default graphics 3D PegX only does sprites, doesn't it? It's software based. But I wanted a hardware based solution for speed. Ah. That kind of changes everything, doesn't it? I did all this in order to implement a 3D version with decals, because this, as far as I can tell... Oh, wait a second. Oh, these are decals, hold on. Did I modify this? Render, render line, render circle, render. Draw triangle, raster triangle. Okay. Raster triangle. Fill texture oh, okay. So I did modify graphics 3D to use, because I think the default graphics 3D is all software rendering. I'm like very, very sure of that. I just remember that being a thing. Let's just take a quick look. Graphics 3D. Let's just peek. Peeking. We have draw triangle flat, draw triangle wire, draw triangle text, which I'll call raster triangle. We can just look at raster triangle. Raster triangle, yep. So this is all sprite based. So I basically turned it all into decal based for the sake of speed. I did that all during the CodeJam last time. So this will be, I guess, useful going forward. So let's grab that. I'm probably going to annotate that this is a modified version too. That way I'm not getting confused. If, let's say, I go into another project, or even next year, I decide I wanted to use something like this again, right? Don't want to get confused. So I'm going to just call this version 0.5. This file, let's see. I'm just going to add sig modifications. This. Hello, CodeLivian. I saw your silly shapes. Thank you, you too. Good luck indeed. Hope you have a lot of fun. Sig modifications. This PegX has been heavily modified to use decal rendering instead of sprites. Or instead of software rendering, I guess is what we're gonna call it. Hardware versus software. Use hardware rendering instead of software rendering. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think I have the plan, pretty much. Rendering engine takes 2 days, map stuff, get basic gameplay stuff going. Oh, you know what? We're gonna need a dialogue system too. I'm throwing that under here. Story, dialogue system, shape evolutions. We're gonna have to throw items in here too. I think that will fall under battle mechanics. But maybe they'll go under here too. List of ship, list of items. Maybe. But that might bleed into here too. Item mechanics as well. We'll see. We can get into more specifics later. Today I'm just working on engine stuff. So this whole file is now basically ready for decal rendering. I just don't understand why I did this. I guess that's my big question now. Because I did a camera, but why? Because if we look at where this is called, we have apply 3D transform to any vec decal instances. It creates a list of decals, so we render them. And then we have the foreground decal instances, which are just drawn. So we have a list of decals that are going to be applied to 3D transform. I guess anything that belongs in the camera. And I'm assuming the rest of this is for the HUD. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. The render function had flags, and these flags did stuff. Did some very specific stuff. Just interesting to me. So our flags include, like, is this just render wire or pass into raster triangle? Raster triangle doesn't do anything with it. Render textured, render depth. Render textured. Did I just like auto? I think I know what I did. This was when like those flags are not relevant now, at least as far as I can tell. What about render depth? They must have been a holdover from earlier in the creation of, or yeah, a holdover over from the PEGX before. Like, we don't even need this. I bet the game runs the same without it. Yeah, for sure. Take it easy, have some fun. That's what the CodeJam is all about, right? That's the best part. Okay. So, anything that was... I am quite confused. So when did apply 3D, or not apply 3D transform? When does... So obviously anything that ends up in vec decal instance is going to have a 3D transform applied, but when, how do we define that? Let's see. Oh, here we go. So we have a flag, a 3D graphics 3D transform enum appears, where is a transform required? Is this like a 3D object, essentially? I think I'm going to rename that if I choose to go this route. Did I apply this to every single draw function? It looks like I did. Okay. So this is a modified PGE. Should I just steal this then? I don't see why not. I guess I should make sure the game still runs with this modified PGE, because if something doesn't work, we're going to have to fix it, obviously. What is the current PGE version here? 2.25. Okay, so they're probably both using the same one. Let's see. Can I open source file geometry? Why do we need geometry? That's weird. Maybe we did some maths using that, so let me pull geometry real quick. Go ahead and throw that in here. And I think I'm gonna have to move it because the include folder is not set up this way. So maybe I should do it the other way then. Create the file in here and move it, or include it. Am I gonna do this every time? God, that's gonna be so annoying. Should I fix this now? I think that's why I put them both in one folder last time. I think for this exact reason. It's a little too late. We're committed. Okay. Let's see if it builds. Looks like an operator is missing somehow. Why is this popped up here? Hold on. That's silly. Just float, please. And you messed up my thing. Cool. Okay. Yeah, it's doing that thing where the vectors are confused. A more modern version of the PGE fixes this. Unfortunately, I can't really... I guess the solution here is to include the flag that says, hey, we're not using one of these. So we can say olc ignore vec2d. Because we know we're going to get it from olc util geometry 2d. So I'm just going to say define olc ignore vec2d. And it should now use the one from geometry. 539 errors. Does this not default to... Oh. Well, maybe if the file wasn't blank, huh? That would be nice. Wait, why is the file blank? What? Paste. Cool. We're compiled. Alright. Just want to make sure that works before we proceed. So, in theory, if I do draw, or not draw, let me load up a decal real quick. Just for funsies. Let me use something from my game. Sure. Assets, graphics. Oh, we can use space.png, that's fine, actually. Hey, it's Moros, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Draw a decal real quick. I guess we should load it, huh? Good to see ya. So I'm using PG Tinker exclusively for my jam entry. Ooh, good luck. If anything, it will get you to figure out how to work around anything you might not have, or realize you need something and then ship a fix real quick. I can just see it now. It's like, if only I had this. I guess it depends how big the project's gonna be. For sure, yeah, definitely. But yeah, everybody's jamming. Fun times. Oh yeah, for sure. I love using it. If I'm on the go, or I'm using like an older computer that really chokes from trying to do Visual Studio stuff, then I definitely use PG Tinker. I need to load this decal. Standard unique pointer. Renderable. Space. Space. Load. Am I gonna have to... I think I'm gonna have to reference... maybe? We'll see if that works or not. Space. decal. This is a good chance to see how this works. Okay, that did not work. I'm gonna guess it probably just references it directly and I just have to specify graphics. Need to make a shape building thing that lets me make the shapes I'm gonna use. Ah, yes. Fun, fun. I think for my game, the shapes are gonna be kind of like baked in, so I won't need to generate shapes. Everything goes in the square. Fair. That sounds cool. So this didn't find it either. That's interesting. I guess I gotta look at what space did now, or what your example did, because apparently I'm doing it wrong. I see, I see. Okay, let me jump back to this. And what was here? Let's go to the source file. And it says load file path. Okay, where's file path? Load graphic. It's literally a lambda. Come on now. Okay, that's why I typed assets/gfx/space.png. That should have worked. Maybe the error was for something else and I was being too hasty. No, I mean, it's definitely not working. File assets gfx space.png. I'm not going crazy, it's definitely there. I mean, the actual example was working, so how can this not work? It's an on-user create, so that's fine. The renderable is... no, it's a pointer. It doesn't have to be in here, because it's not actually generating the... yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Sanity test? Does this still work? Or did I break everything? Surely this still works. I didn't touch anything yet. Okay. So what's different? What changed? Why is this so... good god, what happened when I pasted it? I just want to look. Calls renderable load. It uses a raw pointer. Throws it into a map. I mean, I'm not doing anything different as far as I can tell. I'm just using a unique pointer, but let's use a raw pointer just for fun. Question mark? It should be the same. Okay. It dies. Weird. Oh, okay. So, yes, it has to be... gotcha. So I do have to do a... I have to initialize it. Like this, essentially. Or I can use a raw pointer. Wait, that doesn't work. Does it? No, I need to make a local renderable in here. And then set it to... well, then I would have to store it, right? Or I would have to move it. I guess I could move it. But why would I use a unique pointer then? Why would I not just do this then, right? exactly. I think I was overthinking. Yes. Okay. Hello, space. Anyways, the reason why I did this was I wanted to make sure that worked, and that if we switched to adding the flag that I included in here, it will go to some other pipeline, and this is going to be blank. So, oh, it's still rendered. Why? Shouldn't it have gone into here? Transform required, yes. So it should have went into here instead. Oh, you know what? It just does apply 3D transform, but the transform isn't doing anything, so it just renders it anyways. But if I override it, like I did in Hamster Game, then we're gonna see something different happen. So if I override this function, we can go from there. I need to divide this into a header and a source file because I know we're gonna need it later, I think. Do we though? You know what? I'm just gonna keep it like this for now. Anyways, if we do a virtual void override, we can now do stuff in here, and I can just do like decals dot clear, and all of a sudden it doesn't render anymore. Yes. Okay, so that's working as intended. Commit that real quick. What is CodeLivian doing now? Oh, there we go. He's got his regular polygon generator working. Cool. All right, so created notes, added 3D PegX, util PegX, and confirmed build working. Well, it's working here. I did opt into Tech's workflow thing, so every time we commit, we get to see it build for all the lovely things. So that's fun. Okay. In case something breaks on the way, we just have to keep an eye on that. Actually, I should put this on another tab. That would be smart. Maybe over here. So I have so many monitors, I can just watch everything all the time. I wonder if this update's alive. I don't know if it does. We'll find out. Everybody's a DevOps now, right? Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do is try to set up the 3D camera. I don't need pixels anymore, I just need space. I'm gonna have the space render like normal right now, and what we're gonna try to do is get a camera that is slightly tilted so that this sprite looks like it's actually got some perspective to it. That's what we want to do right now. I believe I will need a camera. Yes, so I will have to do that. Looks like we'll need a pipeline object from graphics 3D, which means I need to include it. Hello? Oh, IntelliSense doesn't work for this? You've got to be kidding me. There's no way. Also, there should be an underscore there. There's no way, right? It should detect it. Surely. Come on now. Don't do this to me. Can I open source file? Oh, is it not actually? Oh, you know what? I probably did an ad and it's probably in here. Yep. You know what? That's gonna be really annoying. I might just cave. You know what? No, we'll do this right. It's just really annoying that the include directory is not included here, and then I have to add it manually and then move it and then add the existing item. That's going to be annoying. Maybe I'll fix that later. What is happening? Go away. Yeah, it's really dumb, and I encountered that last time, and I think I just moved all the headers into the source folder. I don't know. Or I can add another include directory and just make it the project folder. I'm debating it right now because this is probably gonna get even more annoying as time passes. It's really dumb, I agree. I very much agree there. Okay, so we can do LC graphics 3D. We're gonna make a pipeline. I'm just gonna call this the renderer, just like I did in Hamster. So it looks like we first set a camera. And it looks like we need an eye, a look target, and an up. The eye is the camera position. I think I'm just gonna start this at 0, 0, just to see how it looks. The look at vector should be pointing down towards the ground. Here I did a vec add. Okay, that makes sense. I just did look direction, and we made the look direction probably straight down. Yep, straight down in the z-axis. I'm just going to grab these. I am going to do the classic using namespace OLC because, oh, it's already there. Cool. Just cave in and use VS Code with CMake tools. The only reason I don't is because I'm so used to all the shortcuts in Visual Studio. I do like the tab management for Visual Studio Code more, but I like the debug integration of Visual Studio more. So it's like a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of good in both. If I was on Linux, then obviously I would. Visual Studio Code all the way. Okay, so this is the look. Actually, the look at matrix is a little different. Or not the look at matrix, the look at vector. The look target is you add the eye to the look. Yeah, that makes sense. That way it's relative. So I'll just do that here. And then provide the look target, and up is up. Wait, that's strange. I say Y is up? Hold on. The up vector is -1. Is that right? Because we're looking straight. I guess we'll hold on. I guess we'll find out. That sounds wrong to me. I thought Z was the vertical axis, but I guess if we're looking down, we're rotating the view 30 degrees. Potentially. Is this not? Am I doing this wrong? Vec 3D XYZ W. Oh, it's a reference. That's just I then. BI. So the z-axis is the horizontal axis, I think. Yeah, that's why I was confusing myself too. Because I think right now I'm using the Z for the vertical, because this is saying the up is -1, but the look direction is pointing down, and it's using -1 on the Z. So I could flip them, technically, because I could specify that up is actually along the Z-axis, which I could do right now. I'm debating. What is wrong? Oh. Wait. What? Vec add. External. So it looks like graphics 3D is not initialized. Oh my god, are you... Visual Studio. Why are you doing this? You're killing me. Okay, hold on. Wait. I did move it, right? I'm pretty sure I did. Include. It's in include, so that's where I should be looking. That file is correct. I literally just opened it, so... But we're getting unresolved external symbols here. Do I need like an include? Oh, I do. Oops. Or a macro. I'm putting this in its own file. That would do it. Okay. Well, we can still see. With transform required on, so nothing's happening yet. I guess it's because we haven't modified decals. So once we modify decals, that should change everything. I wonder why here I copied old decals. That's kind of weird. Decals. Yeah, I don't know why I copied them. I also gotta figure out the shadow stuff. That's a whole nother thing. Alright, Morris. Thanks for stopping by, and good luck with your project as well. See you around. I don't know where the shadow stuff occurs. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere, though. Not that I'm gonna use it, but I was just wondering. Okay. Well, I kind of want to do what I did here then, and create the required renders needed. I don't know what all this is about, though. This is saying if Z is greater than 0.1. This must be the shadow, right? Oh, here we go. Yes. This is the shadow color. The shadow color is based on how high in the air this decal is. So this is shadow rendering right here. Good. So it is in there. Maybe I'll make a lambda out of it so I'm not confused when I look at it again. Okay, good. Seems I understand. And then I guess the sorting happens because the decals need to be rendered in a certain order among the camera. I don't know why I actually do this, by the way. I think when we render them in 3D, they will be in the correct order because there's depth. Is there depth? Is that true? That might not be true. Because now that I think about it, the PGE normally renders all the decals in the order they are drawn in. So this is essentially what this does. So what does that mean for me? I need to order them based on how far away they are from the camera? I feel like that would work for the most part, but not necessarily. Like, let's say... Oh, you know what? I can order them from highest Y position to lowest Y position. The lowest Y positions are the closest to the camera and should be rendered last. They should always be on top of each other. So I sort by Y in this situation. I think that makes sense. I'm going to grab everything here. And we're gonna see what happens. Okay. I guess in this scenario, why can't we modify old decals? I still don't know. Because we just get... Like, why do we copy? Why do we copy? I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Why would we copy when we can just change these directly? Where do I emplace, or where do I insert them? Is it because I can't sort them? I can't sort the actual list? Because it looks like, yeah. So the original list... Oh, I think I understand the pipeline now. Alright, so apply 3D transform is called on every single vec decal instance. But that doesn't make sense still, because why do I need to copy all of them, you know? When I have a foreground decal layer that's going to do the rest. I think that code can be safely deleted, at least if I'm reading this correctly. If there's a reason I need to copy them, I guess we'll find out later. But for now, there doesn't appear to be a reason, so I will use that list directly. I don't see any harm in that. Unless for some reason modifying the current decal instances breaks the game, like the rendering engine of the PGE rendering engine. Also, I need a lerp. I think I have a util with the template of it. So, lerp. There we go. Should I just grab this whole file? Random range, that's all useful. Angle difference, turn towards direction, lerp, deg to rad. 0.2 timer string. These are all good util functions to have. Alright, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to make it so this directory right here also looks for header files. That way I no longer have to go and I can actually press new item here and just add whatever I need to. Properties. Directories. Include directories. Go ahead and add in our project directory, which should include extra header files from there if I need to. Cool. So now, when I include this, it should detect the util.h. Now the question is, will it build the source file? I doubt it will. That's my only concern, is I don't know if it will see this now. I'm assuming this does not have using namespace olc, but it should. We love using namespace olc, and we're going to continue using namespace olc. I guess geometry 2D isn't it olc geometry 2D? Let me see. olc geometry 2D, no? Oh, that's weird. That's very weird. Something's not right. Well, we'll see. Utils, aha. We need to using namespace utils. There we go. And I don't mind doing that too. That's another very useful one. This should build. Please build. Ugh. Oh, okay, we're back here. Good. So, util, we just have to include it. Just don't know why IntelliSense doesn't care for them, but, you know, it is what it is. We can remove this exception. I don't think that matters. But yeah, if it's floating, we draw a shadow. That could still be useful for a couple reasons in the future. We'll see. We have a vector subscript out of range. What? How does that make sense? The decal Z value is bonkers right now. Oh, is it not? Does it not exist? Surely it exists. What is happening? Decals 3. Decal instance. Oh, you know what? I think. No, that doesn't make sense. Hold on. Something's not right. Let me restart this. Decals. Size is 1. Right? This is very much the space image. And then we get a vector subscript out of range right after. Oh, I see the problem. When we call render, it adds to the list. So my way of solving it... Yeah, I see now. I see. We called a raster triangle. Raster triangle does this. And that gets us to draw explicit decal. We're still going. Draw explicit decal. Adds it to vec decal instance. There we go. We get the infinite loop. Where we're adding more stuff to vec decal instance, and those things are breaking it. So that's why we had to copy all the decal instances. It's not very expensive to copy them, to be fair. It's just has to be done. At least according to the pipeline I made here, I don't think it hurts to do that, so I'm down. So we're going to do this, and we are going to use old decals now. Cool. Just like that. Alright, I see nothing. There is nothing on the screen. Are we at least hitting this? We are. So it's calling render, there's just nothing being displayed, I guess. Let's see where this goes. It gets put. It's gonna go in here and actually attempt to render it, right? So we want to get to the meat and potatoes of what the finalized position is after all the camera work. So if I go to here, and we go all the way down to right here, this is right before it gets rendered. The projected value is negative nan. Negative nan? What? What? Excuse me? Oh. I think I have to initialize some stuff. I think I'm just not... We just haven't initialized, like... Because I know there's more to this. Like, we have to initialize the pipeline or something. So let's go to hamster game on user create or something like that. There it is. Configure display. That's one of them. Camera is camera 2D. We're not worried about that one. Render, there it is. Set projection. So we're going to need that as well. So we're going to configure display. We're going to set projection. And then I think we're good. Screen frame. We might change the size of the screen. So maybe we do make these as values that we can use later. Const int screen frame. I guess that's a VF2D actually, or VI2D. Screen frame. Let's do 6. Actually, what size do we want for this game? What is the size of the Nintendo DS screen? I think it's pretty small. 256 by 192. I wonder if we want to go for something like that. Oh, what are these supposed to be? If they're not... What? Oh, it's a rectangle. What? How does that... Oh, in Hamster Game, the whole screen was offset. We don't need that now. So we can just say... That's why I called it screen frame. I could just call this, like, screen size, honestly. Screen size. Is that right? Hopefully that's right. Okay. Well, nothing's being drawn, so there's still that. Do we end up with the same thing down here if I go looking? Projected is... Oh, well, projected is an actual value now. They are all the same value from the looks of it. No, they're not. It's actually really large? Why is the X so huge? Okay, we might have to make it so we can control the camera to see what's going on, because I'm clearly not seeing anything here. So that tells me the camera is probably somewhere else. I think one thing I've done before is render the wireframe stuff. And that's kind of helped us, so we might do that. Let me try this real quick. I'm just going to do this. See if we see anything. Nope. Okay. Fair. Okay. Well. We know this is happening, right? Like the space image is deciding it's going to go here. Okay. The -1 makes sense because this is in screen space. The other end goes off the screen, I guess. By quite a ways. I'll be right back. Okay, so we still gotta figure out why we're not seeing anything yet. Maybe I just missed some other initialization thing. Configure display. I don't think our camera matters here. Transform view doesn't matter. Graphics, load animations, set projection. Like, I feel like set projection is probably fine. Like, we're actually seeing... We're actually seeing a position that makes sense here. So it's not entirely ridiculous. At least, as far as I can tell, it's not ridiculous. This is... Unless the texture coordinates are wrong. That looks correct to me. It's 1/2 of a full sprite. The only other problem might be the actual texture not being saved, but I doubt that would be the case. It's A5, 239 to 312, which is down, and then it's going all the way to the right and across. Like, that looks fine to me. That actually looks good. So then we go a step further, right? And we have to actually render it. So here, oh, I didn't mean to actually jump to that position, but okay, we are here after, and these positions should be good. I don't think they wouldn't be. The Z is 0.95. I think the camera is just facing a bad direction, if I'm being completely honest. Like, it says it's supposed to be at position 239. Oh, you know what? It might be... Is the screen too small? Maybe that's the problem. The screen might be too small. I'm gonna zoom this out. 640 by 480. No. The numbers should not have changed. Oh, maybe they have. Okay, now they're larger, which makes sense because the screen got larger. The Y is 599, so it is off screen. That's what this is telling me. If I want to actually see this thing in action, I need to move the camera. I guess I'm just going to... let me see. Look target. Look direction. Look direction is towards the ground. I is at 2 above the ground. Let me move this by like a little bit. I don't know by how much, but I'm gonna do 5. Okay, that didn't do anything. Let me move the camera way up, see if that changes anything. Nothing. Okay. Well, that's great. Sure what is happening. Like, can we confirm that a triangle is being drawn? Can I just draw this thing? Maybe instead of drawing a texture, can I draw a white square or something? Okay. Back decal. Instance. Draw decal. Okay. Instead of where's texture data? Texture data. Oh, decal. I think if I set this to null pointer, I think it just renders it normally, or it renders color, I want to say. Oh, something really broke. Hold on. Yeah, I broke something. Oh god. How did that happen? Who knows, right? Oh, pointer. I'm getting other errors. Redefinition. What? Okay, there must have been something here before. What was there before? Oh, it was the ignore vec2d thing. We gotta put that back. Or I'll just put it right here. I deleted it by accident. Okay. So I'm still not seeing anything. And let's go to vec decal instance. I just want to look again. I guess we'll be here. Position. Negative 0.3, negative 0.9, negative 0.3, negative 1.6, 3, negative 1.6. Negative 1 is the edge of the screen. It looks like we're right, it's right along the edge of the screen. Let me try 100. Do that again. Want to know why it's not working. Okay, now we're negative 1.4. It looks like we're going the opposite way I want to go. Let's try, at least it's changing with this, so we know the camera's being moved. I'm just gonna try like 10 or something. I really should just add in controls to control this camera, but negative 5, holy. Okay. So negative 5 maybe would be what I'm looking for. I need to get the value between negative 1 and 1. Okay, it looks like it's in between those values now. There we go. Okay, there's the texture. So we just had to move the camera around to find it, but it is rendering. Now let me put the decal back, so we're not drawing a blank square. Where is that? Where's draw explicit decal? Where did I do that? I did that somewhere. Let me just undo. There it is. Okay. Do that. Do this. Okay. We should see the sprite now. Or at least some of the sprite. Cool. So it's over there. Good start. We have some rendering. Added 3D graphics pipeline. Okay, cool. Cool. So the next thing to do would be to make it so the camera is not pointing straight down. So we could calculate this using just some trig, right? If we want to. I think there's also some functions we could just use to be like, hey, rotate by this amount. Let me see. It's like set, oh, here we go. Make rotation, let's see. Well, that gives me a 4x4 matrix. How do I convert that to a direction? I don't know. Honestly. Unless I just do multiply vector with the... What is it called? Not an identity matrix, but maybe like an identity vector? In any case, we could just math it out, right? So if I wanted it to point slightly towards the positive y-axis, I should be able to just do that by adjusting these two values a little bit. So like if I did some trig, right? Let's say we wanted 5 degrees, whatever that is in radians. 5 degrees divided by 360 would be 0.01 multiplied by 2 times pi. So you end up with like 0.08 radian. That doesn't sound right. It should be smaller, not larger. Or no. No, that's... Wait, no, that is right, because then if I multiply by... If I multiply this by 2 times... Hold on, that's the ratio. 2 times pi. This should be the same ratio as 1.3% of 360. 2 pi is 360 degrees. So 1% of 2 pi gets us this number. Okay, that sounds correct. I'm just gonna... What am I doing? I have a degrees to radians function. But it's gonna be like... Take the sine and the cosine of these, I think. So it'd be like cosine of util degrees to radians, 5 degrees. And then this would be negative sine. I think that's correct. Or maybe the negative goes, oh, I see nothing. Okay. I think they might go in there. -5. Or maybe it's not even negative anymore. I don't know. Well, I'm assuming this function actually works. Yeah. Degrees times... Wait, is that right? Yeah. Divide by 180. Pi divided by 180. Pi is 108 degrees, so yes, divide by 180. Well, that doesn't do what I want to do, does it? Math. Let me think about this a little bit more, because there should be a way to use, like, if I just say make rotation... Which way would I be rotating in this case? I would be rotating along the x-axis by 5 degrees. Oh, okay, so I start with this vector, this v-look direction vector, whatever this is. That's my starting value. And then I say mat multiply vector. Do I have to graphics 3D mat multiply vector, and I have to provide the mat make rotation x matrix. Degrees to radians, we'll say 5, because I think that's what I want. Where did... Oops. What's that? Should be a static function. Mat multiply vector graphics 3D math mat make rotation x. L value. It is. Wait. Oh. Because it's gonna get modified, question mark? I don't know why that has to be the case, but okay. Graphics 3D math. Or not math, matrix. Mat, or we'll just call this camrot. We do camrot. Is that right? Hold on. Something's not right here. We apply this to... I'm so confused. We get a rotation matrix out of this, and we have to apply it to cam rotation to use it in this function. That doesn't really make sense, does it? Is that really how we have to do that? That doesn't make sense. I don't know, I'm just going with it for now. It's supposed to be a reference. Thanks, Codlivian. You have a good sleep. See you tomorrow, I presume. For more game jamming, code jamming adventures. Okay. Wonder if this will do this. Graphics 3D. Vec 3D. Am I missing? Okay, I am missing something. Do I need this? I don't. Oh, there we go. Wait, that's sick, actually. I want to move it. Let me make some camera controls real quick. Get key. Left. Let's go. That's sick. I don't know if I want that angle, but we'll see. We'll move VI because that's the camera. The x-axis by elapsed time. Just do that for now. Oh, that's two lefts. That's not moving it anywhere. Okay, let's see what we got. Cool. That's all I really care about for now. Can I get like a sprite or two on there? That would be cool, right? Let me get a sprite or two on there and maybe move it forward and backwards. I just want something to show, at least before I call it a night as well. Tomorrow is obviously going to be the day everybody really gets started because the code jam gets announced late, at least relative to, you know, European time, and then I started my time a little late, so it's already late for me as well. Let me just grab a sprite that I can... Let's use this guy. Girl, whatever. Actually, that's... Why is that sprite so large? Whatever. I'll use it anyway. Why not, right? Okay, throw that in there, and we'll just create it real quick. But it looks like we should have our rendering pipeline ready to go. Exciting stuff. Gotta load that. To sprite. I'll just call this Nico. Let me put it like offset a little bit, like 2060 or something. And it broke. Why'd it break? It broke when I chose a position. That's weird. Let me see here. Decal was null pointer. Oh, so decal is not loaded. Oh, I put .png. Very nice. And it's still not working. I can confirm it's there. I can confirm the name is correct. I can confirm I'm putting in the right object. Is it because I have two objects now that it's breaking? Nope. It's just decal was no pointer right here when we get here. That's strange. Can I jump back a little bit? Is this null pointer? Oh, it's empty. Yes, it is null pointer. For some reason. Am I editing the right place? Excuse me. Please tell me I don't have to do something with this. Oh, I hope not. Copy data. Resources. Do I have to do this? Is that really what's happening here? If so, that's insane. I shouldn't have to do that, right? There's no way. There's no way. There's no way I have to rebuild it either, right? Absolutely no way. I would hope not. God, I hope not. All build. Do I have to do all build? Build. That doesn't make any sense. But I guess what's happening is, okay, so the assets are here, but let's go to the bin, right? It's not being copied. So the output is not copying this over. Why is it not copying it over? That's the real question. I mean, this is called copy data. If I just run it, maybe? Set it as the, let me just set it as the, this as the startup project and just run this. Okay, access is denied. Fine. Set as startup project, copy data, denied. Okay. I feel like copy data is supposed to do something special here. Like, show a terminal window. Source include. Set include directory. Alright, well, the temporary fix is to just do it myself. Or maybe I'll make a script that copies it for me. I almost remember doing this in Hamster Game. Like, I literally made a script that just copied it because CMake wasn't doing it. Visual Studio CMake wasn't doing it. Sure. Unresolved external symbol, util, cannot open source file, util to, oh no. No. Oh, why? Okay, this is stupid. We're removing that. We're just not doing this. It is broken. Absolutely broken. I am not dealing with that. Cool. That means I have to make the filter again, and I have to change the, add to do a bunch of stuff. Header files. Wait a second, can't I just undo the solution? Let me undo the solution. Alright, now we're back here, right? Nope. What? Undo this, and undo the VCX project filters. And then we should have everything back. Cool. I think the filter's still gone, for whatever reason. Removing that. I'm removing this. And I'm creating a... Clearly I'm not using this right, but also might just be broken. I remember a similar thing happening to Hamster Games, so this isn't unusual, to say the least. You just get these all back, kind of where they're supposed to be. Okay, so now... Our sprite is flat. Wait, I want it facing the camera. Or I want it tilted upwards towards the camera. Okay, so here's what we gotta do now. We gotta make it so sprites can be defined as being on the ground plane or not being on the ground plane, because that is on the ground plane, obviously. Okay. Let me think about that. How would we do this? Clearly we need a new type of like flag that just says, yeah, do this. Let me think about it. Because how would we position this then? We would have to create a triangle that is now facing upwards. So literally take the let me see here. So before we did position 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1 to 2, 2, 2. That was one triangle. 0, 0, 0, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. Okay, that makes sense. So now, well, it's still gonna be flat regardless. We have to change the triangle points along the... So basically, the z-axis becomes the y-axis and vice versa? Or the z-axis is just 0. Or... No, the z-axis stays the same. No, that's not true, is it? It's like, so right now we're drawing it flat on the ground. Like, the z is currently the same, right? We need to now make it so the x is the same, being drawn at the y position, but facing, but it's turned upward. So we have to look at the other points now. So instead of going from 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, go from, it needs height, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Hey Magitsub, so I am currently configuring the renderer for my game. Essentially what I want to do is I want to take any like sprites, like this would be the ground plane, I just put that there for the sake of putting that there, but I would take this sprite and I would have it facing up from the camera. You can see this is like a perspective projection thing, so I want the sprite not being flat. Right now it's like the same as that space tile. It's on the floor. So I need to pick up that sprite so it's facing the camera. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm preparing the rendering engine for my game because I want to use a 3D engine with 2D sprites. I think that would look pretty cool. It'd be fun with some other 3D objects scattered in later, but we'll worry about that when we get there. Yeah. I just need to think about what I'm doing with these coordinates right now to get the triangle to stand up, so. I can use 0, 0, 0. No, I can't actually. Now that I think about it, this is the first one is what stands up. It's gonna stand up by the height of the sprite, I guess. I guess that would be what happens. X and Y stay where they are. Sprite goes up. I guess we have to consider, though, the position of the sprite relative... Whatever, we'll worry about that later. So the Z becomes the height of the sprite. Okay, we can do that. Decal sprite height. So we're going to try that. Then that means the next point, 1, 1, is also the height of the sprite, while down it's at 0. I guess we still have to add in the Z values. Why aren't the Z values all the same? They should all be the same. I don't see why they wouldn't be. Anyway, I will include the Z values here and here. If my mind is thinking of this correctly, then we'll have to do the same thing starting from here. It's either going to be flipped or I got the orientation right the first time. The second one is going to be wait. So this one was in the air, so boom, boom, boom. So this one's going to be on the ground. This one's also on the ground. So if I did my orienting in my head correctly, we might see it work. Oh, what is this? Also, I didn't want it for both sprites. I wanted so we need to add a flag that says transform on the ground plane or the... Well, I don't know now. Now I'm confused. I think we just need to add something for pop-up sprites. Something like that. But at the same time, it needs to be like a property of a decal instance. So I should be modifying the decal instance class with a boolean called pop-up sprite. I think that's what I want to do here. By default, it's false. We'll make it true by specifying... I don't know. I might add a flag here or something. I'll think about it. Oh yeah, I have a very wide monitor, so I tend to abuse the ultra long lines. Yeah, I'm just thinking the best way to implement this. I mean, I could make this a bitwise enum. That's one way to go. That way I can have multiple together. Like it could be a pop-up sprite. But pop-up sprite also requires a transform. So because of that, maybe we do go this route. Pop-up sprite. If we specify it's pop-up sprite, it's automatically assumed that a transform is required, which means every place where we wrote transform required now, we change that to say transform required or pop-up sprite. Okay. That should take care of that. Now, if it's a pop-up sprite, then we do this special stuff. So if decal transform is equal to transform pop-up, then we're going to do something special here. Otherwise, we just do a normal transformation so that the space one can end up on the floor still without the sprite height determining how tall it goes. Apparently I didn't do it right, but we'll see what happens. We'll see how to fix that. Okay. So we'll probably go from here. What is wrong? What did I do? Try is unidentified. Oh. How about just define them outside here? Cool. Are they fragmented though, if they're vectors, or is there something funky Java does with them that I'm missing? Oh, I can't set these like this. I have to. Wait, really? Oh. Too many initializer values. What? Okay. Vector 3D. That is a vector 3D. Second vector 3D. Third vector 3D. How does that not work? Oh, wait. My braces are incorrect. I guess I had it right first time. Cool. Okay, so that one's flat, and this is, well, I guess that one's also flat because I didn't define it as a pop-up sprite. So you will be a pop-up sprite now. Allocate the new memory in a new location. Yes. Indeed. Where'd my sprite go? Sprite is gone. Okay, so that clearly wasn't it. Let's see now. So is my orientation wrong? Let me think here. So it's possible my orientation was wrong. So what it might be is position 1 might be the bottom. Which would make it go down. So this would actually just be this. And then it would go to the upper, either upper right or lower right corner. I'm literally just guessing. I'm gonna assume upper right corner. I really should write down what it actually is though. So this is upper left, upper right, and then bottom right. Maybe. Nope. Nothing. Okay. Just thinking what else it could be then. Alright, let me actually look up what this is so I'm not being stupid about it anymore. Because I'm just guessing right now. So raster triangle, fill texture triangle decal. I guess it doesn't, well, it matters in the sense of I need to know what draw explicit decal wants. Because that's gonna determine it. So draw explicit decal says Hmm. This doesn't tell me anything. Okay, you know what? I have a better idea. I just have to look at what the UV coordinates are. They'll tell me. UV. Okay. 0, 0, 0, 1. Oh. Okay, so it's lower left, upper left, upper right, lower right. Lower left, clockwise. Orientation is lower left, clockwise. Okay, good to know. So this is the lower left, so it stays on the ground. And then we have upper left, which is in the sky. Upper right is in the sky. Lower left, upper right, lower right. Nothing. Maybe. Then again, the sprite's really big. That probably doesn't help. I'm gonna shrink the sprite real quick in case maybe we're just not seeing, because like if you look at the sprite, it's actually, the legs are actually not at the bottom. Maybe the sprite is so tall because the camera is so zoomed in that we actually can't see it. So maybe I'm just gonna add some white pixels on the bottom to know that we're there. Like this is a very high resolution image, by the way, so this probably is way too tall for our world. Which is another problem. We're gonna have to scale everything down if that's the case, but let me see if that was the problem or not. I don't think so. I need to add controls to go back and forth with the camera real quick. So I need to figure out what's actually going on. Up and down. Let's go faster as well, because we're kind of going slow. So multiply by 5. Let's make the y-axis different. Okay. I think I have to flip these. I think positive is forward. Okay. Is that what? Is that how I want it? Wait, what? Is that right? Why does it look weird? I don't know if that's right. That's not what I was expecting. Where is it? I don't know. I assume changing Z will make us go up and down. I think that's what I wanted. Just looks kind of weird. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, nothing's here, so I don't know what happened to my other sprite. Her sprite's gone. I got the orientation correct. I think. I'm gonna put this at 0, 0, just for my own sanity. Oh, you know what? When I modified the sprite, by the way, I didn't actually modify it. I forgot. It goes in the other directory that I need to actually copy over. Oh, wait, no. Wait, yes. Just something to keep in mind that's actually in a different place, I guess. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Weird. Let's see where the sprite is at then. If it's not anywhere nearby here. Because something definitely happened. Let me see how it transformed. Triangle. -1, 1, -1, -3.26. Yeah, the Z ended up being 512. So it's so tall. The Y is negative. That's telling me it's behind the camera. That's weird. Need like another control here. Maybe I'll also print out the values so I can actually see what's going on. I feel like something's not right. More importantly, why is the up value -1? That is what I don't understand. Why is it not 1? Wouldn't that make more sense as the up value? Okay, let me see. No? Maybe. Hmm. Well. Oh, I'm seeing something. It's definitely not oriented correctly, but it's there. It's like oriented this way, like this is the plane. It's lying flat along it. That's weird. Well, at least I know it's there. Great. I'll have to figure that out later. Gotta go for now. This is a start. Let me just throw in a commit here. Implement pop-up sprite. Gonna be working a lot more tomorrow, that's for sure. For those of you that tuned in, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Got things started for the first night, so we'll see how it goes. Take care. Bye-bye.